Welcome back, guys. Welcome to King Fab and Off-Road. Today I'm going to be doing some injectors on a friend of mine's Dodge truck, just like Bluey. It's a 6-speed manual and he is going to be putting a little bit more power to it. So we did a little swaparoo with my truck, and I didn't get to record it because I'm a bad person, but I have already taken my 45 over injectors from Lincoln and put a set of 100 overs in Bluey, and we're going to be taking my old ones and putting them in his, so that way he can spice his up a little bit. We're going to be doing that now, and then as time progresses we're going to put a fuel system on and maybe some turbo upgrades in the future. Just doing one step at a time, but I'm going to get that thing pulled in here. That's what we're doing today. Nothing too big, too crazy, but that's what's on the menu for tonight. Alright, I'm gonna have to yell because my mic's broken on the GoPro and I have the heater up here causing me issues, but I ain't turning that off because it's cold here in Missouri. I'm gonna get all this as a stock truck, nothing done to it. I'm gonna get all this stuff stripped off of here, get everything off as you would expect. If you have done this, you know, on these Cummins, they're about the easiest one to do, but there's some tips and stuff that you need to know about when you're taking stuff apart and putting together, and I'll go over some of that with you guys in case you are interested, so or interested in knowing. Not that I'm a know-it-all, but this is what I do on a day-to-day basis. And it kind of dawned on me today as I was going to pull this in. I was like, you know, I literally do this stuff every day and I don't share this with you guys, and maybe it's something you guys would be interested in. With that being said, I'm going to start doing some more videos involving the diesel work that we do. For instance, like I'm doing this right now, what I was working on today myself, which of course there's a few of us here in the shop. I got a cab off of a 6.7 Ford, and we are doing some turbo work. So we do all sorts of stuff here, and it's all stuff that I think you guys are interested in if you're following me. Not all of you are diesel guys, but it kind of goes in hand with what I like to do, so I'm going to start doing some more of that stuff. So stay tuned for all that. Like I said, it'll just be random stuff. Some projects we have, some of the pulling truck stuff you've seen in the past, we're going to focus on that as spring comes. But anyway, I'm going to get to these injectors now, so let's get to it. Okay, first thing you need to do on these, you take this top cover that goes from your EGR valve over, and then get your valve cover and all that stuff taken off. That's pretty self-explanatory. A few bolts doing that and a couple plugs. I'll get that stripped off there and show you guys an update once I get that far. The top cover's off, got the crankcase filter out, sitting over there, and now I'm going to get all the wiring pulled off and pulled over and get the foam mount. There's like a sound deadening material right here over the injection lines, and then we're going to get some of these off, pull everything over so we can get to the lines and get the valve cover off. Okay, we've now got the valve cover off. On this truck, since it has all the EGR on here, there's a few gaskets and stuff that you have to replace if you take that off. So you can technically get these lines and the feed tubes and stuff out with it installed, but I'm going to be taking this out of my way. I do believe, I can't remember if this will come out or not, but I'll let you know in a minute. But get all these nuts taken off the injectors. I believe they're 8mm. Take them off, pull this off, get the lines off, and then get all the feed tubes out is next in line. Once we get that far, we will get the exhaust side rockers out of the way. You got to take all those out to pop the injectors out, and I'll go over that with you guys in just a minute. So I'm gonna get this stripped the rest of the way down and get it to where they're actually coming out. We have gotten to the point where all the lines are off, got everything off, and I have all the delivery tubes loose and pulled out. I wanted to share with you guys, as I set this camera up, hopefully, a little trick that I have learned. These go in there like this. There's a keyway, a little detent there you can see. As these go into the injector, they seat in the injector right here. Sometimes these will get cruddy or just dry, and you can't get these pulled out, and these have threads on them where your feed line goes on. I take an old line, this is for a 5.9. You take it apart, cut it off from one, you thread this on there, and then you cover your threads up, and then just so happens to put it right in line with the valve cover and the lower valve cover, rocker box I mean, and then you can pry on this without having any issues. There's different ways to do it, but that's the best way to not mess up the threads. So that's a little tidbit, and just so you know, you can do this with everything intact like you see here with your intake and everything, because all you have to do is pull these loose. You do need to change these O-rings, but you can get everything pulled loose, and then everything's going to come out just like this. All right, I got all the injectors in except for one. I was going to go over what I do with them whenever they are new, and or in this case I have to these are used, I'm sorry. So since these are used, you can see here, maybe this is your copper that goes on the bottom, and then you also have an O-ring right here. These O-rings are typically fine, and these don't have very many miles on them at all, so I'm going to leave that. But on the bottom here, I take the copper off. You can use different kinds of pliers, whatever, just be careful not to mar up the end, of course. With a little bit of elbow grease, clean off the end of this, make sure there's nothing in the trough there. I call it the trough, but the bottom of the injector. You take a new copper and slide it down, and if you notice there, sorry, it goes down about yay far, and then you have to, I use a socket to seat that all the way down, and it equally presses on this so you don't mar it up or cause an imperfection. So then it's all put together. I'm gonna lube it up here, and then we're gonna slide this last one in, start torquing everything back up. I got a little bit trigger happy, forgot to get the camera out, but slid and popped all the injectors in. When you put them in, they kind of seat down on that upper O-ring I showed you. Next, I set those all in, and then I lightly torque, like half torque, the hold down bolts. They're 8mm, and then I pop the feed tubes in, and then I torque the injectors, and then lastly I tighten and torque the feed tube nuts. I do that so that way you know they set in the injector the way they're supposed to, because it's just like a ball socket kind of, and if it doesn't get in there straight, you can have leaks and stuff, and you don't want that. So lastly, I put the rockers back on, torque those. So now I'm going to torque the feed tube nuts, like I said, and then reinstall the lines and get everything put back on there. All right, guys, just like that, got it wrapped up. I think I have about, keep in mind I do this every day, but I started this at 7 o'clock. It's 9:45, and I've cleaned up my tools and already started it, checked everything over. So not a bad job at all. Of course, that's someone knows what they're doing and jamming through it. But if you guys are going to tackle it yourself, definitely a doable thing. If you have any questions about it, I didn't go over like everything, but it's self-explanatory. One thing has to come off before another. You'll get that. So yeah, this thing's wrapped up now. I hope you guys liked the video. If you guys are putting injectors in this, it'll give you a little insight on that. I'm going to start focusing a lot more on this kind of stuff. That way you guys can see the diesel side of things. I do a lot more of that than the off-road stuff, just because it's my everyday work stuff. So we might get some more content with that, so I can give you guys more. And if you have any questions with it, just let me know. Anything pertaining diesel world wise, we do it all. So appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you guys on the next one.